The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max Smackdown Review.
Hello and welcome to Wrestling to the Max Smackdown live review for January 24th, 2017. I am your host, Sean Garmer. With me here, not Paul Leazar, but Gary Vaughn is subbing in for me.
Yes, I am. Here I am, guys. I know it's a big surprise, but I made it to a SmackDown finally.
Well, you know what? This is the SmackDown that Gary would have been on normally because he's always on all the before the pay-per-view SmackDowns. So this sort of worked out anyway.
Yeah.
But, sadly we don't get Paul's opinion here because we're having to do this on a Wednesday because I did one of those I fell asleep things again. So
Getting old.
I don't know what it is. Like, I think it's just, as I posted today in our staff thing, sometimes just all the stuff gets overwhelming. It's still really hard for me to get home from work, and I forget that I have this other job. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that other job right now. I want to do something else. And, and it's when other things are going on and it gets kind of depressing, I'm just like, man, I want to do anything but look at a bunch of words and have to figure out how they go together. And I did watch all the shows we were supposed to watch. I was just sitting there going, okay, I don't know what I swear I texted Paul and I sat there with my phone looking at it for 5 minutes. Nothing happened. I set it to charge and then I fell asleep. So,
It's okay. It happens. And, I was sick last night and I saw the message this morning. So that's my fault, too, because I usually try to be the backup guy, in case things fall through for one of us. I try to be there in case. And, man, I feel about halfway better. But I'm glad I can do the show tonight. That's what's important. We're going to have a SmackDown Live review.
Yes, exactly. We are. So let's talk about this SmackDown Live, the last show that actually has something to do, pertaining to this Sunday's pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble, one of the biggest nights in all of WWE's calendar, many people's favorite pay-per-view of the entire year, and this is the show that starts off the year, but even though it's not really WWE's year, it starts off your calendar year. But so they had last week they had promoted that Bray Wyatt himself had requested this match for Luke Harper and Randy Orton to face off and go at it one-on-one to have the brothers end their quarrel. And Bray Wyatt kind of just helps the guys. I think he rolls both guys into the ring at one point. And I think that's kind of all he does until after where Bray takes out Luke Harper.
Mm-hmm.
But, the match was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed this match. The crowd was into it, which helps a lot. But, man, they really could have gone more than 10 minutes. But this is interesting. They could go many different ways with it. I gotta say, Gary, Paul and I have talked about this, but this is one of the best feuds that they have on SmackDown. Just, you have so many possibilities here.
Yeah, it is probably one of the better feuds. And what I think is exciting about it is the fact that there is that intrigue behind it, that, there's multiple, roads you can travel. And not only that, the psychology of it all. because you just keep waiting on Randy Orton to turn on the family. You keep waiting on Luke Harper to give up on him or to do something else, and you just don't know where Bray's at. You just don't know where he's at in his mind and what he's thinking and what his next plan of action is. Is he going to get, angry at Orton or, Luke? So I do love it too. I like this. And this is a perfect way to kind of get things going, I think, because this is a big match. People have been wanting to see these two guys tangle up. Luke Harper is a big imposing force. Randy Orton's that Viper that everybody loves. It was exciting from step one to the final steps of this match. And I think that, in the end, we see Bray Wyatt do something he's done before. And that's just put his guys down. And is this a punishment? Or is this a goodbye to Luke Harper? I don't know. I mean, I think, like you said, we could go either way with that. But in the end, it's funny that Randy Orton's really the only guy standing with Bray, and I still don't trust it.
Well, yeah, totally. You got to wonder about that. Is this Randy Orton trying to isolate Bray so that when he turns on him, Bray has nobody? Or is this Randy Orton allying himself, Bray Wyatt allying himself with the guy that won because he feels like Randy Orton's the better man, and now Luke Harper with, perhaps Eric Rowan returns in the Royal Rumble. I don't know that he would do it in the Royal Rumble match itself, but perhaps, Eric Rowan returns, let's say, the next Smackdown, and you have somehow a face Harper and Rowan against the heel Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. That's possibly interesting. And could you have Bray Wyatt being left by himself where he has no family anymore?
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, we haven't seen Bray Wyatt by himself ever. So that leads you to that next question. And do they need to do that to build up Bray? Maybe they want Bray to be a single solo guy without anyone else around him before they put a championship on him. Besides the tag team championship, of course. I wonder if that's a big question here.
I think about it. What guys really get singles championships? I mean, other than Chris Jericho, that you're with other people in a group, and like they really eventually the way you get really pushed is you get out of that group.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're like that leader that like the Triple H in Evolution or the Ric Flair in the Horsemen or whatever. Unless you're that lead guy already, but for you to become the lead guy out of the group, they usually have you get out of the group in order for you to really do something. So
that is very, very true. And, I think for Bray Wyatt to grow and to do what he needs to do, I think it probably would be most effective to single him out, get him on his own, growing, building from there, and then give him a title. And I think from that point, I think it'll be more exciting. Bray Wyatt can still be this imposing, creepy figure. I keep saying this all the time, and I know he may never, ever reach the point of Undertaker. I don't know if anybody will. But I think he could at least be that next guy to impose his will, to be the next creepy guy in the WWE that, he may never be Undertaker, but he can be a lot like him. And just be so creepy. I know my wife, like I've said it 100 times before, she's seen him on TV and she goes, man, that guy is just creepy. I wouldn't want to see him in the street. That's perfect. That's what WWE needs and probably wants.
Yeah, probably. Would not be surprised at all if that's the route that they wind up going. They could always just have Orton eventually turns on him and then the family gets back together kind of thing, too, as well. So, again, like I said, so many possibilities. And that's what makes it interesting for this feud. As they now, let's see what happens in the Royal Rumble. Does it implode some more? Or do they somehow get along for this last thing? So, aside from this, speaking of the Royal Rumble, they had a feud of a bunch of jobbers, plus Rhino and Slater, and Mojo Rawley, debuting with some shorts, with some longer tights, and some wristbands, and more traditional wrestler here, and he wins this match that goes about 3 minutes. It's nothing really, but they've been talking about Mojo going singles and Mojo was on Talking Smack last week talking about that. He was on it this week, celebrating that now he is in the Royal Rumble. How do you feel about this a bit more serious Mojo Rawley?
I think you need it, especially if you want people to take him serious. I do love the ecstatic, crazy man that he is, trying to be the ultimate warrior without all the crazy verbiage. But he just is so excited, all the hype and all that. But if you want to get somewhere, I think in the WWE, you also have to have some seriousness about you. And so him doing what he's doing, I think, does work. And I like it. I just don't know how much I'm going to put a lot into all this, though, because I don't know. I think I need to be sold a little bit more on Mojo Rawley and really thinking that he's going to get somewhere and just, I don't know, make it to that next point. I think right now this is a nice win for him. It's exciting. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble, but, don't put it past him to make him like the third eliminated in the Rumble. I just having a hard time believing in him right now. Still.
Yeah, it's... I don't think a lot's going to happen. He could get some eliminations or whatever, especially because he is a bigger guy. And the only thing they promoted about this Royal Rumble is, oh my God, look at how many big guys are in this Rumble. Vince is just having a hard-on right now at all the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, Mojo's another one of those. So that's what, people need to understand. This is not the biggest Royal Rumble in size, because obviously that was that 40-man Rumble that Alberto won. This is big in size in that a lot of the guys that are in it are huge or bigger than, the smaller guys or whatever. So that will continue that trend of some more, another football player being in it along with Baron Corbin and various other guys. So we'll have to see if anything happens for Mojo out of that Rumble, if he gets any feuds or anything of that nature.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to think I don't like Mojo. I think Mojo's fine. I don't really have a problem with him. I just think he's still got a ways to go.
I think it more that he's serious instead of, oh my God, I'm so hyped. I'm running out of gas before I even get to the ring. Oh God.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's just the thing. I think this is a good start, and I'm not going to say that it's going to go over well. I'm just saying it's a good start. So.
Yeah, it is a good start. So, hopefully things happen here, and we continue that trend. So, we have a few short segments. I'm going to highlight the two big things, the three big things here in a row. So, I'm going to get through these little short segments first. We have Nikki Bella being outside talking to Dasha about how, Cena is, how much is John Cena about her success and all the stuff. And Natty gets pissed because her face is not on the truck that Nikki showcases with her next to John Cena. And then Natty then shoves Nikki's face into the truck really hard. That's the end of that segment. I'm not kidding. And then Natalya's going to have this match. Nikki then attacks her. She's going to have this match against Naomi. So this leads to Naomi grabbing the mic and saying, look, somebody's going to feel the glow tonight. Seriously. I think this is a cool little branding for her. I think it works as far as the entrance or whatever, but is that you're going to feel the ass whooping now? You're going to feel the glow of what? I know you glow when you're pregnant, but I'm rambling here, but I don't get what, I'm supposed to be angered or scared of about feeling the glow. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she's talking about the promotion, glow. You remember the glow? You never know.
Yeah. Sometimes they have to really think about, you're your big, ending line, your big slogan, your big tagline that you use doesn't go with everything. You have to be aware of what you're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we find out that, Alexa Bliss does come out. She's not actually going to wrestle Naomi here. She just tells her, hey, who are you again? I thought we haven't seen you in like 3 months or something. And Naomi's been injured. And, basically just tells Naomi, like, you know what? You're not worth it. You're beneath me. And I guess we just shoot on each other on SmackDown. This is what happens. I feel like that's what we did on half of this show. We just shoot on each other. But this leads to them making a 6-person tag, which involves Alexa Bliss, Natalya, and Mickie James against Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Nikki Bella for Sunday. Not on the pre-show as of right now. It's on the actual regular show. Makes sense because you don't want to have 2 of the same kind of women's title matches, I don't think, on that show like that. I think you want to kind of have a variety of things. But I mean, what do you think? Would you have wanted to see Alexa Bliss didn't really have a person she was going against right now, right? Because the whole thing with Becky is more about Mickie James at this point. Do you like this whole 6-person? And do you think perhaps what we talked about with this, could this women's elimination chamber be real? You got 6 women.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, they're breaking barriers, aren't they? I mean, Hell in a Cell, that's one. They hadn't done, I think, the first women's Iron Man match.
Woman, yeah, the Iron Man match.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't shock me one day if we're seeing the ladder match, TLC, women's TLC or something. I don't know, but I mean, that trust me, as scary as that sounds, I mean, they did Hell in a Cell, so why not do the Elimination Chamber? I personally wouldn't have a problem with it. I think it'd be exciting. In fact, I think it would be something kind of fresher breath air for the Elimination Chamber. So, you have 6 women. Naomi is, I don't mean to be mean, and I think Alexa Bliss kind of has a little truth here. Really, Naomi's kind of an afterthought for a lot of people, and it's just the way it's worked for her. And not that she's not talented.
She always gets injured at the wrong time.
Exactly. That's exactly the key. Gets injured at the wrong time. And she hasn't really been able to showcase herself too much to get people behind her. So that's the biggest deal with that. So I think this is a good decision. I think, like you said, Sean, you don't want to have 2 women's matches that are for titles on the same show. It's a little overload. So this makes complete sense. You don't put the title up for grabs, and you do this. So I think this match will be fine. I think it's going to be cool. And I want to say that I know there's a lot in this, so I'm just going to quickly say it. But I'll start with this Alexa Bliss thing. I do like the promo with her and Naomi going back and forth. I think this makes... Man, it just, once again, this gives Alexa a lot of heat with the fans. It's perfect. I mean, you give her more time. She got time earlier in the show, but it really wasn't for this. She wasn't speaking. So now she actually gets to speak and just get people to hate her even more, right? I like that. And Naomi, of course, maybe it gives people sympathy for her. Maybe they want to see Naomi overcome this little blonde-haired witch, right? I think it works for especially younger fans. Maybe older fans don't care, but I think people can get behind Naomi because of this. Outside of that picture, I do want to touch on something with the other segment that you talked about, Sean. The Nikki Bella thing. I got to ask you this question and say this personally. People always complain about the Raw Women's Division and the fact that everybody cries. I've heard this so many times from different people. Well, they're always crying. They're always saying about, where they came from and all this. They're not. It's just every Raw you see a woman crying. Well, on every SmackDown I watch, I see Nikki Bella talking about how it's not John, it's her. She does all this hard work, and I don't even care about the reality of that. All I care about is, can you just stop it? Can we get away from this? I mean, every time I see Nikki Bella on my TV, it's going to be about, don't talk about John. I did all this. Just don't tell me that, and I'll think more of you. So anyway, this adds into whatever the whole thing. I think, honestly, the why this was so short, though, it sounded like Natalya was sick. The way she was speaking, it sounded like she had a pretty bad cold or something. So I think that's why that was so short.
Well, it's also, I think Natalya's just both of them are not, promo queens or anything.
Yeah.
So, and you're in it outside. I mean, are you really going to have this long soliloquy of a promo? Not really. I mean, Natalya's just pissed, and I don't know. It got to the point, but it was just kind of like, okay, this is whatever. Mm-hmm. So.
It's one of the least exciting things on SmackDown. I have to say that it's one of the least exciting.
I like the feud because they're really intense about it and stuff like that. That segment was just weird.
Yeah, I think they were just protecting us from Natalia's voice and not because her voice is bad, but I think she was sick. I really legit going back and watching. I rewound it to hear her voice, and it sounded like she was sick. So you got to do that to protect her and everybody else from having to hear a sick voice, but. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, and I think, like I said, the 6-woman tag is going to be fun because you have everybody involved, right? So, and not only that, I mean, I know you're about to talk about the whole other thing with Becky Lynch, so I'll let you do that before we get into that.
Yeah, so they had Mickie James come out for a promo, right? And, it was... It's one of these things where, Mickie basically... I thought this was really good by Mickie, and then she followed this up on Talking Smack as well, where she talked about how, hey, just like we've seen John Cena do, like we've seen some of the men do, even though, a lot of the men have now dropped it, other than Cena. Mickie James is bringing up the whole, hey, look, I was the one, Trish, Lita, they were the ones that started this Divas Revolution or whatever. How dare WWE act like that never happened until now? How dare they make it seem like what we did meant nothing? And then, Mickie got more, backstage about it. She talked about how she talked, Victoria, Trish, Lita, they all talked backstage and tried to get this done for the women or whatever, and they just weren't at the right time. But they made it. They opened that door for the women today to be able to do that. And so it's basically about she wants that recognition. She wants that respect. And it makes sense. And you're not going to really have a face coming out and doing that. I know people are going to complain, oh, well, Mickey's going to get cheered and people are going to cheer. I didn't really hear people really chanting for her. I think this also helps so that if you have all these kids and these younger people that have no idea who Mickie James is, never saw her in TNA, which is most likely, and they go, oh, well, we can mask this by having her be booed, right? Or that she's a heel, so we don't have to worry about that 3/4 of the crowd isn't chanting for her or whatever, And I like the story they went with here. I like the fact that she covered for Alexa in the promo and on Talking Smack by saying, look, Alexa's not part of that Women's Revolution thing. She's been trying to fight against that. She's been trying to be her own person and whatever. And I think she hit all the notes that needed to be hit. It's not, the greatest thing ever or whatever, but it's one of those solid things that worked. Then they attack Becky Lynch when she comes out, and you get the heat on her, and that's all you needed to do.
Exactly. I think that when you talk about getting things going, especially with someone who's so new to this crowd, which honestly, I mean, you could tell by Mickie James's entrance that she was new to a lot of people. I mean, people are just kind of like, who in the heck is this? And I think this is the great way to get them reacquainted, to reintroduce them. This also gives people a reason to get on that WWE network, right? Because if you, like, man, wait a minute, hold on. She was women's champion before?
Huh? 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. Well, okay, and a Divas champion? Oh, why? I don't know who she is. And that gives people, okay, type in Mickie James on the network and go find her. And then I think people will be really excited.
WWE really should have had a Mickie James collection ready to go. Yeah,
you're exactly right. Yes, they should really should have, especially if you want people to start really getting excited about understanding who she is and, really.
If you made a freaking Jimmy Snuka collection, come on.
Yeah, but that was Vince's personal friend. I mean, he would never not do that. Mickie James did a little V thing on a pay-per-view, and her career was over pretty quickly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, that technically kickstarted her career. No.
Well, in another company.
Yeah.
But anyway, but at the end of the day, I think you exactly hit on all the right points about her, because she hit on all the right points. I think this is good. I think not only that, but it's cool to see a veteran get inside this division, which honestly is a young division, besides Natalya and Nikki, and give them a little help. And not only that, have that next heel for Becky Lynch, for Naomi, for everybody else to try to defeat. Because they only have a certain amount of heels. Like Alexa Bliss right now is the biggest heel.
Right.
And so that gives them somebody else, and that gives also an opportunity to see more matchups. So I think it's exciting, and I'm thrilled about this. I think this is going to be even better down the line. I think we're new into this. I can't wait to see what they do with Mickie James when we get closer to WrestleMania time.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that too, because they can't have two multi-women matches. One of those has got to be a singles or something. So, I mean, I think the interesting thing is, I know she's doing a movie, but it's like, didn't you expect Eva Marie to be the one that comes out against Naomi or something? It's like, man, we haven't seen her in a while. This seems like a perfect spot. I was waiting for that announcer to come on.
Honestly, I've forgotten all about her. I really have. I've taken her out of my mental capacity when it comes to wrestling. So she is not in that library anymore. Now she is. Thanks a lot. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of curious about her and what she wants to do. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if she went down a different path, even though she said she likes wrestling and wants to do it. I don't know, man. Maybe they're going to save her.
She doesn't have to wrestle, really, right? She already proved she doesn't really have to.
Is she going to?
She could be valet for somebody.
I guess so, or she could just be the Raw version of Emelina.
Yeah, just never show up again.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious if SmackDown just starts saying, "Oh, Emelina, really? Okay. Well, here we go. Eva Marie is just gonna keep announcing that she's coming back, and she doesn't."
And doing all those pictures, right?
Yeah. Well, Eva Marie, yeah, that's basically what you have Eva Marie there for. Dolph Ziggler has a match with Kalisto. It doesn't even go 1 minute because Dolph Ziggler says, "Well, fuck you, man," and just super kicks him. Man, he was not screwing around here. Apollo Crews does make the save, so we're gonna hopefully Apollo Crews lasts a lot longer with Dolph than Kalisto did, because Apollo really needs a feud badly.
Yeah, but man, Kalisto, poor guy. I just got to say, poor guy. He went from doing so well, people cheering him, excited about him, to
that match with Corbin at TLC that was really good.
He's doing a good job. That's the thing. He's not crapping it up. He's actually doing a good job. It's just, I don't think they really have anything for him, and I don't think that they're doing him any favors either by getting him killed in 1 minute, I get it, it's Dolph Ziggler, but come on, really? And you're right, Apollo Crews does need this feud, honestly. He needs something, because we haven't seen him. I think a lot of people backstage at WWE really felt like Apollo Crews was going to be just this giant babyface. People were going to love him from day one. I think quickly they understood that, no, you got to do more work than that. You've actually got to put some background with this guy. You've actually got to get him on a roll, and they have yet to do that.
Yes, you certainly do, but, rumors going around that they're taking their time with it, but perhaps he is going to wind up on 205 Live, which I think would work a lot better for him, and make it to where he doesn't have to cut promos so much or whatever. Just have him go out there and do his lucha thing. Right?
Yeah, true. I mean, it may fit him better, like you said.
You missed my joke there with the. I made a crack about his bad promo, where the last thing he says is, "I'm gonna do my lucha thing," but is
that what he said? I guess I forgot.
Yeah, and he completely forgot.
I forgot.
He completely forgets what he's supposed to say after that. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, this has not been a good week for people on the mic for any Raw or SmackDown. It is not. There are so many flubs. They could probably make a whole compilation video of them. It is just between Goldberg and even AJ kind of had a little bit of a fluster moment. It's just, oof.
Yeah, I mean, moving on to the main event here, we have Ambrose and Miz in a lumberjack match. This was fine. You had a lot of Ambrose getting attacked by the lumberjacks, and lumberjacks does that, or the Ambrose does that thing where he flies onto all the lumberjacks eventually. Ambrose wins, beating the Miz, but you get it's basically you got all this brawling going on with the lumberjacks, and Miz is distracted and all that stuff. So it's not really like Miz really had this. He just lost, totally clean or whatnot. And it looked like, with Baron Corbin attacking Ambrose, this might be the next thing that they do with Baron Corbin, which I think is great because Baron Corbin needs one of these big feuds and going for a big title if you really want to get him going somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. And, as, fun it is to watch a little bit of Ambrose and Miz, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of wearing on me a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm kind of tired of it already. And I don't know why. I just...
I think Miz and Ambrose is kind of done at this point, so...
Yeah, I hope you're right. It's just kind of, But, I mean, Corbin, I think it would be a nice, addition to Ambrose and to kind of see what they can do together. And I think it'd be kind of fun. I think that if Corbin does get a title, that'll at least help him. That'll give him a little momentum going forward, and I think it'll be, I don't know, something new for SmackDown because they'll have a guy that's young who has one of their titles, and when he gets closer to WrestleMania, if he takes it that far, it'll be a big time match. It'll be something that's important rather than it's just Baron Corbin facing just another guy.
Oh yeah, certainly. Hopefully people get invested in this. Baron Corbin has been improving. He's been getting better. Every time he appears on Talking Smack, he keeps getting better on that microphone. So I think he's kind of earned it at this point. Let's see if he makes it work with him and Ambrose. The thing is, Corbin has that I don't give a crap attitude. Ambrose also has the I don't give a crap attitude. So might have some guys clashing there.
Yeah.
Speaking of clashing, the final clash between the guys in one of the bigger matches at the Royal Rumble, the WWE Championship match to be exact, AJ Styles and John Cena. The crowd was all about AJ Styles to start out this thing. They would not stop chanting for him, and AJ was all about letting them chant. He waited for a while on that one. AJ complains about the poster. Finally, someone notices that AJ is way back there in that poster. And John Cena is right there front and center, even though AJ is a champion. But let's be honest here. The champions are not in the Royal Rumble. So, they do have a point there. But Cena should not be in the Royal Rumble either, because usually the ones that are if you're planning to win the title, you don't wrestle in the Royal Rumble after you've been in the title match either. But either way, AJ again does that great thing where he tells John Cena that no, you're not going to talk tonight or whatever. And they play this clip from the Today Show where John Cena is talking, and the woman that's there. Sorry, I don't watch the Today Show, so I don't know who these people's names are. I think I know Al Roker was one of the guys in that thing, but I don't know the woman's name, so I apologize if that offends someone. So the lady talks about this guy from Atlanta that you're wrestling. This guy from Atlanta. Well, John Cena makes a Tom Brady joke, and then we find out that WWE is making their own Super Bowl reference because WWE is so lame at making Super Bowl references. But they're lame at making almost any kind of reference. Let's be honest. So you have the guy from New England against the guy from Atlanta. Ha ha. Then AJ then corrects people on Talking Smack that he is from Gainesville, not Atlanta. So this is great about this. Apparently the Falcons are actually really located in Gainesville. Just the Georgia Dome is in Atlanta. But anyway. Enough about silly references. But anyway, this eventually gets into a heated thing with Cena, where Cena goes after AJ, telling him, "Look, man, you might have been great in the Indies," and AJ says, "Well, you couldn't have made it in the Indies," and Cena's like, "Well, yo, dude," because Cena starts getting into rapper Cena here, and he's like, "See, look, you're holding that championship because I let you, and I wouldn't have made it in the Indies. That's right, because I was made for WWE. I was made for SmackDown, and I was made for taking the title at the Royal Rumble, and I'll see you, and I'm a bad man, and my time is now," and all that. I was waiting for that Thugonomics music to start hitting or something, because I felt like we would have been, my only problem with this is that Cena kind of runs AJ down at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, why did you spend so much time building him up to tear him down before you're about to wrestle him? Like, shouldn't it have been the opposite?
I had the same feeling walking away from this, and I wondered to myself if I was just being a little critical or something of that matter, but I just looked at this and thought to myself, okay, AJ did a good job, Cena technically did a good job, but there was no rebuttal. It was just AJ gets to talk about the beginning, and then Cena gets his turn, but no rebuttal at all. And you walk away feeling like he just got tore down, and AJ looks stupid, like he's flabbergasted, like he has nothing to respond to that with. That does not, to me, leave a lot of shine for AJ. It kind of is almost like Cena's too good of a talker. He's got too many good points that AJ's dumbfounded. I didn't really like that. I just kind of thought, I wish AJ would at least start yelling in the mic as the music played and then SmackDown ended. At least AJ could have yelled some things back at him like, you think you can talk to me that way, blah, 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 blah. At least so we had a response. It's just that whole staring off into space like, well, I don't know, Cena, everything you said was right. I'll just have to sit here and look off into space. It felt negative to me when it came to AJ. The only thing it could take me to is maybe it kind of makes you lean towards AJ in a way at the Rumble, but then again, not.
It might be that. Cena's been really on that edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cena's been on that edge of, like, I'm almost the heel, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as far as you can go before you might have some of the kiddies start questioning why are they cheering for John Cena. And it's like, man, I wonder if they're gonna do it. I wonder if they're. I mean, like, look at all the people chanting for AJ every week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, now would be the time. Now would be the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't waste AJ Styles on Shane McMahon. Do this turn with John Cena. Imagine how much you can get out of face AJ and heel John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Full heel John Cena. Oh, man.
Well, to quote Cena, the time is now, right? And I think if you're going to do it, this is a good time because also the fact that, Cena takes his time off now. He's going to be doing other projects every once in a while.
Another movie already.
So is it so bad to have heel John Cena? Not so much, because a lot of those kids that are watching wrestling right now, let's be honest, they may love John Cena, but they found other people to be invested in. They've done it. They've had to. Because if they were just coming to see John Cena, a lot of those kids are disappointed. Because he's not there.
Look at who you got left, right? Okay, so let's say John Cena's gone. Okay? John Cena's out of the picture. Who is left there for AJ to wrestle? Bray Wyatt, he's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton, he's better as a heel, but he's kind of the whatever guy. And then you got Dolph Ziggler. He's a heel too now. So I hope they don't do Ambrose again. They did way too much with Ambrose. So Baron Corbin, he's a heel. Your four main guys that you're going to have AJ Styles wrestle, they're all heels. This is the perfect time. John Cena can come in and out and be a heel, and he can play up that whole, I'm Hollywood like The Rock did. I'm look at all these movies I'm doing. Look at all this. I'm above this, whatever. Man, they could do so much with John Cena if they want to. If they turn... Look, I'm not trying to be a fanboy here or whatever, saying, oh, God, please do it. We've wanted it for something. It's not about that. It's like, now it just makes logical sense. You finally have a guy in AJ that you can bank on the face side and let Cena be that guy. And I bet he makes just as much.
Oh, I think so. I think not only that, you're going to still have the diehard fans of John Cena. They're oh man, I can't believe he's turned heel. But you're still going to have
people... how the kids are, right? Like once he gets bad, they usually don't go with him. They don't go with that person.
That's fine, but don't you need to build up new people anyway, right? So that's this perfect opportunity you're talking about. And AJ Styles, hey, his merchandise might raise because of this. At the end of the day, though, I look at that fact that John Cena turning right now could be great for another reason, and it's because what next title he wins, right? It ties Ric Flair, right?
Yeah.
For the most championships. So think about that. Winning another title, and then he could say he's better. Like he's like, oh, I'm getting close. I'm almost better than Ric Flair ever was, and blah, blah, blah. And then that's another way of getting some heat, telling that kind of story of, how many movies he's done, all those kind of things to kind of gloat and all that. I mean, even if you wait till he wins, even let's say Sunday he wins the championship, okay? Well, after he ties Ric Flair and he turns heel, then he could talk about how, eventually he's going to beat Ric Flair. Even if he loses his title, it doesn't matter because he'll get it back and then he'll be better than Ric Flair. Things like that. Just crazy heel stuff. It's a great opportunity. Will they do it? I still can't say they would, but like you're saying, Sean, I think if you're going to do it, sooner the better. Let's not wait till John Cena is about to just walk out the door, then all of a sudden, oh, he's heel for 5 minutes and he's done. No. Give it some time. That way you can turn him back face. He can end his career that way.
I don't know. I don't think you have to... If he goes away long enough, I think you're going to get the people that are going to eventually just cheer him or whatever. But, it could just be like, honestly, to me, John Cena is almost like the Kurt Angle thing. Like, when Kurt Angle comes out, they're going to do the "you suck," right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that they hate the guy. It just means it's just like John Cena. It's just I think it's just with John Cena, people they like jokingly hate the guy now. You still got those crazy people that hate him, but I think it's mostly it's fun to hate John Cena.
Yeah.
Just like it's fun to hate to say you suck at Kurt Angle. So I don't think it's really that big a deal if you don't see him for a long time and the last bit of John Cena you see is the John Cena we're seeing now. I don't think he really cares where he ends his career, what he ends his career on, because he knows he's kind of that guy. He's infallible at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. And I think leading into Royal Rumble, we have John Cena, a guy that has every opportunity to win this big match with AJ. And I think AJ right now, as we end off on SmackDown, we have him looking kind of dumb, but I think if he wins the belt again and Cena turns or Cena just gets more angry, it helps. Cena just winning just puts AJ down a little bit more, and I just don't. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry, I just don't want to see that. Even though it could happen, I just don't want it.
Yeah, I can. I get you. But we'll have to see. I mean, I think with Roman Reigns, his thing being so obvious, and it's such a setup to finally hitting that nail in the coffin for Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I can't imagine you're going to have both of them lose their belts. You're going to have Reigns and Cena be champion at the same time? Like, I just don't see that, It makes more sense for Cena to lose here, and if he wins it at the Chamber or something, if he's going to win it at all. That's where AJ Styles gets pissed, and he can either get his rematch, and his rematch is for WrestleMania, or he goes off against Shane, or whatever they're going to do. But, like, this is, I don't know. I just feel like if you give it to both Cena and Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble, you're asking for it to. You're going to get the boo show.
Yeah.
It's absolute booed out of the building.
Well, we'll do our predictions on our, Wrestling to the Max episode 2, part 2. But I will say that makes me lean more towards maybe AJ winning and then maybe Kevin Owens retaining. That's what kind of makes me lean towards, because I think that feels better than vice versa. Roman winning and Cena winning. I don't think that would work as well.
Yeah, I just don't think Kevin Owens winning, nobody cares anymore. They have totally smashed Kevin Owens on the ground at this point that, like,
Mm-hmm.
The only one that would really mean something is Roman winning, because you're going to get all the people that hate it, or you're going to get Cena winning, who people don't want to see AJ lose the title yet, or Cena getting the title for that matter.
I just look at that and that picture of, I get it, and that makes a lot of sense. I just look at the picture and say, it just feels better with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, in that picture of WrestleMania, and then someone coming to defeat them there. I don't know.
And Cena winning that 16th title at WrestleMania means so much more.
True.
So,
yeah.
I mean, they got it made for them there if that's what they end up doing. But, that is going to do it for SmackDown this week. Yeah, we talked about everything. Okay, so, yes, that's going to do it for SmackDown for this week. Of course, the next time we're talking about SmackDown will be after the Royal Rumble, and it will be the official Road to WrestleMania begins. That's going to be an exciting time, Gary. That's always the most exciting time of the year for WWE. So hopefully, things can be exciting on that road. Because last year, man, I remember we were going to that WrestleMania and it just didn't feel very exciting, right? So hopefully that changes.
I know. I'm hoping this year there's a lot more invested in it and more excitement. I think that WB was so focused on the fact that WrestleMania was going to be the biggest they ever had. It's going to be a record-breaking crowd. And I'm not so sold that they were just really working hard to really build up everything to WrestleMania. I think they were kind of concerned about that last month. And so this year, I think now that they're going to be going to a place that I think that they're not having to be concerned about all that, they should hopefully have a better road to WrestleMania.
Certainly. Well, until next week, everybody, we shall see you later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.